The 1990s were a great time for country music, depending on who you talk to. And if you talk to me, you'll find out that that's the decade where I personally really embraced the country genre and let it into all the music that I love. So coming up today, I'm going to share 5 country jams from the 90s coming right up. Hey, it's Russ from the Infectious Groove podcast and here on the Infectious Groove music channel. And these songs today that I'm going to share, honestly, I wouldn't say are, some of them aren't in the discussion with like the best country songs of the 90s. But they're ones that for me take me back to a certain time and a place and really amped up my love for country music and how much I was surprised by what I liked and opened my mind to more things. So that's why I'm going to share these 5. The first one for me is a song by an artist that I don't really love a lot of what he does, but the songs that I love by him, I really, really love. And that's a song called Something Like That by Tim McGraw. Again, you know, I wouldn't call this anywhere near one of the best country songs of the 90s, but, you know, it's a song about reminiscing in the first place. And when it came out, I was in the age range of all the things that they're talking about in the song, you know, hanging out with all your friends and having reminiscing back to all these good memories and all that stuff. So Something Like That is one of those songs that just for me, even though I was living it at the time that the song came out, now when I hear it, it instantly takes me back to all those same days when I first heard it. The next one is from, in my opinion, country royalty, and I don't think this guy gets anywhere near the level of respect that he deserves, and that's Dwight Yoakam, who in the early 90s really had a hand in helping me come into appreciating modern country music at the time. And that is from his album This Time, Pocket of a Clown. That song managed to get played, you know, in the mainstream back then, and it is as country gets. It's got the dual women singing harmonies on the background, plenty of fiddle and plenty of steel guitar, and of course Dwight's deep vocal. I mean, it's just really surprising to me how much in the mainstream that song became. And because of that, it allowed me, again, to start really loving country music more. You can't have a top country songs list of any decade without dipping into some sad songs. So I've got the first of 2 on my list here that are, for me, just super heartbreaking and show off. You know, it's less than, it's not a typical, you know, hey, this is just a sad song and everything's gone wrong in this guy's life country song. But really, to me, shows how deep a country ballad has of being when exploring the subjects of emotional trauma and whatnot. And that's a song called Anymore by Travis Tritt, who really at the time was known for more of his upbeat numbers. Here's a Quarter, Call Someone Who Cares, his cover of Elvis, Trouble, things like that. But Anymore is one of those songs that really, when you think about it, is such a sad song. You know, it's up there with like He Stopped Loving Her Today as far as how it can evoke an emotion. So that's one that's definitely up there for me. Taking an upswing from the downtrodden songs before we go back down for the last one is Brooks and Dunn, Boot Scootin' Boogie, which is a song that if you had asked me 5 years before that song came out, you know, hey, would you ever get deep into country music at all? A song like Boot Scootin' Boogie would have been a reason why I wouldn't be into country music. But again, listening to people like Dwight and Garth and Tim and Travis really got me ready for when somebody like Brooks and Dunn came out with that song Boot Scootin' Boogie. And it was like, you know what? It's okay to just have songs about having a good time. And made me realize actually, you know, like, oh, I grew up on so-called hair metal and whatnot. And a lot of that music is about just having a good time as well. So Boot Scootin' Boogie is in there for me for sure. The last one that I would point out is, I think, one of the most underrated women of country music in general, let alone the 90s. If you talk about women doing country music in the 90s, certain names come up constantly, and I don't know why, but this artist never seems to come up in the discussion. And that's Martina McBride with her song Whatever You Say. Again, this is a sad song, but I think a different twist. It's not just, oh, my husband left me, or I'm having problems with my kids, or I'm having employment issues or whatever. Like, this is a whole song about the inner workings of somebody's relationship and how both sides need to listen to each other more and come to agreements, and how that can fall apart. And yes, all of those things are great from a songwriting standpoint, but from a vocal delivery standpoint, Martina McBride is one of those people like Elvis Presley, in my opinion, where she can take a lyric and make you believe it. Just, whether or not you're invested in the story or you can relate to it, you can believe it because of the way she's relaying it. So those are 5 country songs that I love from the 90s. I'm certain that if you're watching this video, you have plenty of songs from the 90s that you love for country music. Drop a comment below. Let me know what some of yours are. Feel free to share stories too, like the Something Like That thing or whatever, why it is that you love that song so much. We would appreciate that as well. And as always, we appreciate you stopping by. Thanks.